In 2004, nearly 60 years after World War II ended, a much belated memorial in honor of a most significant time in American history and the brave men and women who so selflessly gave of themselves to preserve the freedom that we enjoy today was dedicated in Washington, D.C. Unfortunately, by this time we were losing these heroes of this greatest generation at the rate of more than 1,200 a day. This meant that many of those who served to preserve our independence would never have the privilege of visiting the memorial that was erected in their honor. One man, Earl Morse, a physician's assistant at a veterans hospital in Dayton, Ohio, was deeply troubled to learn from the many World War II veterans that he was treating that they had little hope of ever seeing their memorial. In his passion to right this tragedy, he, being a pilot, began to solicit the help of fellow pilots to fly these veterans in private aircraft to Washington, D.C. to visit the memorial. As word of this service grew, the requests started pouring in from veterans and their families. Soon it became obvious that this effort was going to be grossly insufficient to meet the demand. Thus, the Honor Flight Network was born. It presently operates out of 34 states with more than 75 hubs securing chartered passenger aircraft to take these heroes of American freedom to see their memorial. In early 2008, Honor Flight Northern Colorado was established to afford Northern Colorado and Southern Wyoming veterans this much-deserved opportunity. This program is a chronicle of the events of the inaugural venture of Honor Flight Northern Colorado and is dedicated to the 211 World War II veterans to whom we had the privilege of providing this service.
Truly remarkable. I mean, it's so beyond me. What did I do to really deserve this kind of wonderful treatment?
In the early bright, they clap their hands and stamp their feet because they know how he plays with.
At dawn on September 23, 2008, the Budweiser Event Center in Loveland, Colorado was abuzz with preparation, anticipation, and celebration as Honor Flight Northern Colorado welcomed World War II veterans from Weld and Larimer counties to embark on their inaugural flight to Washington, D.C. to visit the World War II Memorial. They would eventually be joined at the Cheyenne, Wyoming airport by veterans from southern Wyoming. In all, 211 World War II veterans would make the trip.
Doesn't really work in the morning though.
And even the poor seem to be swaying, no swaying. When they begin, they begin. No, there's a lot of volunteers. Good morning. Are you guys checking out 2 weeks?
Volunteers gathered to assist in Guardian and Veteran check-in. Food and beverages were provided by local businesses, and music filled the air, compliments of nostalgia. A women's trio from Fort Collins, Colorado, dressed the part and singing songs from the war era. As the veterans arrived, they were issued commemorative caps, T-shirts, fanny packs with essential products in them, and a tote bag with a disposable camera to carry on the trip. As the dawn turned to sunlight, anticipation continued to grow as the news media began reporting on the event, and crowds gathered to see the veterans off in grand fashion.
The new World War II memorial. It's actually been up for a few years now. And you know what? This is all possible due to the Honor Flight program. We are so lucky to have the
We started flying them 2 at a time to their memorial. We took off 6 planes one month, then 8 planes the next month, then 10 planes, and it's just steadily grown. Now we're in 34 states. We have 75 hubs all across the country. The saddest part of this, Michelle, was when I asked all the World War II veterans that I was caring for in this I said, are you going to go see them? Just about everyone felt that sooner or later a son or a daughter, maybe their local aunt, that's what the effect was to get them out there. But then I was seeing them 6 months later and 8 months later, not one of them had. And worse yet, reality had set in that they would never see their memorial. And that memorial is America's thank you to their service. Thank you. They deserve to see it. This program lives and dies based on the support of the community. We are a non-profit organization. We get no government or corporate sponsorship. So we're asking the American public to get behind this cause. So there's a very narrow window of opportunity to make this happen for veterans throughout Colorado. The time to act was 3-4 years ago. But now that we're doing it, today is the day that we're going to see the memorial, and this isn't a great No, my pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
He's the daddy of them all. The people gather around when he gets on the stand. And when he plays, he gets a hand. The rhythm that he plays puts the cats in a trance.
The veterans began coming together in camaraderie as they shared their mutual experience. You could feel the electricity in the air. As the veterans took in the celebratory atmosphere, you could see the excitement on their faces and a spring in their step. Colorado State University contracted 5 buses for the trip to the Cheyenne Airport. The Patriot Guard pulled in on their motorcycles and lined the walkways with flags in honor of their predecessors' service.
The airport, when they go through the gate and go on the ramp, we're going to peel off and go into the parking lot. So I'll be leading, so just follow me.
When departure time arrived, reveille was sounded, the national anthem was sung, and the Highland High School band from Alt Colorado played.
Bursting in
crowds waved flags and displayed banners as the veterans boarded the buses. The motorcade would be escorted by the Larimer County, Colorado and Laramie County, Wyoming Sheriff's Departments, as well as over 50 Patriot Guard motorcycle riders. Along the 50-mile route to the airport, you could see many groups of emergency vehicles parked along the road with flags flying and people saluting as the motorcade went by. Upon arrival at the airport, the veterans were greeted with more celebration from the Cheyenne Central High School Band. Volunteers from Warren Air Force Base and the Air Force National Guard were on hand to assist in the boarding of the planes. From the first to the last of the veterans to disembark at BWI Airport in Baltimore, the celebration continued as crowds cheered their arrival and greeted each one individually. As we arrived at the BWI Hilton Hotel, we were treated to dinner in the grand dining room as retired Army Lieutenant General Jim Campbell gave a brief address.
Remember that, nose over toe.
You were from, I heard you say where you were from. Wellington, yeah. Nice town. And he like it.
Well, that's why I drove my dad by his car. And we parked in front of it. It was a rainy day.
The next morning was abuzz with new anticipation as camaraderie grew among the veterans and guardians alike. Outside the hotel, the laborsome task of loading the buses with wheelchairs and baggage was taking place before leaving on the trip into Washington, D.C.
He's campaigning for his wife. Should I see if I can get you an absentee ballot?
We've got Dr. Don Cook here from Greeley with us today. We're on honor flight, and we're so excited to be a part of this as a community foundation. So, Don, are you enjoying your time with us?
Yes, I am.
And what was your service in the war? What did you do?
I was in the Navy.
Okay.
I was a corpsman. Basically, took care of sick people.
And where were you stationed?
Well, I was in California most of the time. I was in the hospital at Long Beach, which is our veterans hospital. Spent some time in Mexico.
And what are you looking forward to today?
What am I looking forward to? I got to see the memorial. I think that's going to be great.
Well, we're excited about having you come.
Oh, yeah, I'm taking to death. Yeah. Great trip.
We have talked to him, we've called everybody, letters and everything.
We're going to turn around. We're taking a picture.
Oh, while he's getting their picture.
I had to get this ingenious way of wearing that cap.
Did you get it? Yeah, okay.
This has been a great experience. We're proud to have been able to put it together and to come, and just to see the results, the veterans' emotions and feeling makes it all worthwhile. And this is going to be a great day. Everything ought to go smooth. Looking forward to it.
Because of the size of our group, we were divided into 2 blocks of 3 buses that would alternate between memorials, with a common gathering for lunch. For the excursion into Washington and at the memorials, every effort was made to keep the veterans comfortable and safe. The hour-long trip included specific instructions for unloading at each stop, as well as our strict time schedule for meeting our departing flight. The ride was topped off with a video history of how the World War II memorial came about.
Now the memorial. Now when we get there, the first people we're going to kick off is the press. All but three guardians to stay on. Everybody else off. And the first thing you do is, before any veterans get off, those guardians that are now off the bus get every wheelchair out. Every one. Want to have 2 guardians right at the base of the stairs, and then one up here, the other 2 bringing people down the aisle. The bus driver will tell us where we're going to meet this bus after lunch. Then after lunch, when we get on, we'll go to Iwo Jima first. We leave there a little early and go on over to Korea, Vietnam, because you can use more time over there. In any case, we're going to take off from the Korea, Vietnam memorials at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, so we're out there at 4 for a 5 o'clock departure.
1941.
Where do you begin to make a memorial to World War II? After a long search, sponsors were convinced it should be located between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument, 2 of the most revered symbols.
Following the battle, President Roosevelt addressed a shaken nation.
That monuments will be raised to him in the future. He wants and he needs, and he is entitled to insist upon our full and active support now.
Upon arriving at each memorial, the first task was the unloading and setting up of wheelchairs and walkers. Though few of the veterans were actually confined to wheelchairs, they were kept readily available because of the enormous size of the monuments and the amount of walking that would be required throughout the day. Many of the guardians themselves quipped that they too would be requesting chairs by the time 3 o'clock rolled around. However, in all the excitement, there was no evidence of any fatigue from the previous full day's events as the veterans gathered to proceed to the World War II Memorial.
Well, the camera survived it. Did you need something out of it?
How many did we have alive out of the group?
Okay, I got the camera, Dean. We're going to put your name on it. Is that work?
I think that's what it's a good idea.
Okay, almost up here, but I'm going to go ahead and take pictures for you.
The World War II Memorial was bigger than life, representing both the Pacific Theater at one end and the Atlantic Theater at the other, separated by fountains of water in the middle and pillars representing each state around the perimeter. Sections of the memorial gave special recognition to specific memorable events such as the attack on Pearl Harbor and the Battle of the Bulge. Along one side stood a wall consisting of 4,000 sculpted gold stars, each representing 100 American lives that were lost during the conflict, 400,000 lives lost in all. Visitors to the memorial couldn't help noticing the influx of veterans wandering the grounds. As they realized they were in the presence of so many from this greatest generation, they began to spontaneously greet them with handshakes and thank yous for their service. Among the greeters were a number of young military personnel. The veterans reminisced as they found the pillars representing their state or an area depicting a battle that they had fought in. Some brought flags and signs to honor friends and colleagues who had passed away without opportunity to see their memorial. Though the occasion was filled with reflection, the mood was enthusiastic.
serve in? I was in the Army. In the infantry. And then I ended up in the, as an Alamo Scout at the window.
What were the Alamo Scouts known for?
They were known for combat intelligence behind the enemy lines and the rescue of POW prisoners and other intelligence work that was necessary. That was our assignment.
You went for several years before the Alamo Scouts were even heard of, is that correct?
That is correct. I didn't know what I was being trained for. Until the day when a couple of officers showed up and said, sit out under this tree, Johnny. Johnny, we want to talk to you for a while. And then they introduced me to the Alamo Scouts, and who could say no?
How long was it before the public found out about the Alamo Scouts?
Well, it was near 60 years.
What are you charging for pictures?
Not a thing.
Get over here and tell your story.
There we go.
Now this is the high country fisherman here.
And where are you from?
Colorado.
Yeah. Fort Collins,
Collins.
Greeley.
Fort Collins.
It's the most wonderful thing that I've seen for quite a while. So, they really put in a lot of effort. But it looked to me like it was a little bit late in doing it.
About 60 years later.
You know.
Where did you serve at?
I served in Europe in the glider division during World War II. No, I was over in Europe, but I was over in England and Holland and Belgium and wound up down in Germany. And so that's where they sent me home from Germany.
Where are you from now?
Me? I live in Fort Collins, Colorado.
Fort Collins.
Yeah.
And in what branch were you in? The Army?
Army Air Force.
Army Air Force.
Before they separated. Yeah. And I was in the troop carrier division. With my brother, my oldest brother. He chased Rommel all the way across Africa. And couldn't get him to talk about it.
much.
Thank you.
I didn't know there was going to be one more. Hold up there. I took that down and I'm still alive.
I got to sit next to this guy on the airplane, man. We had a good time, didn't we? We had a good time. Tell us about that.
The flag is from VFW Unit 1881, and it will be returned to them at our next meeting. There'll be a whole lot of people that are expecting it back, and they will want to know that it has been put at the Wyoming station on the memorial.
I'm stuck. I can't ever get up.
Hey, that's better. All right. Okay, you ready?
How many jumps did you make?
About 50.
How many combat?
Most of them were combat. I led all the commando raids behind the line, so I was constantly jumping behind the line.
Oh, you got flight range.
Yeah. As soon as I got, I went through dance. As soon as I got my pilot's one by the OSS command. So for jumping the Navy, I started the Ranger organization. I was connected with it all.
You started the Rangers program?
Yeah.
What's your name again?
Gene Thompson.
Should have got it. Thank you.
You bet. You want to say anything?
Oh, I've already said enough. The one thing I could say is it's truly remarkable. I mean, it's so beyond me at the terrific of everything. I mean, it's the people at Madison, at Loveland, at Cheyenne, and here. And now you're taking care of all of these things. This is just,
I mean, like I said to somebody yesterday when they met us over here in the airport, what did I do to really deserve this kind of wonderful treatment? You know, because we were fairly close to losing our ass. Germany was closer than the Japanese, I think, of really defeating us. They had the potential for an atomic bomb and didn't use it.
But at the same time, before Midway, it looked like South Pacific was going to be lost too.
Yeah, well, it sure did. And they were rolling. My God, they were rolling. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger as you read more. Have you read the book Flyboys?
No, I haven't.
Pretty chilling. Tells of the capture and beheading of about 6 or 8 flyboys over there on Chichijima. The Japanese knew they'd lost the war by that time, because this was in early 45, and they'd lost the war. But they were going to take all of the guys. It was like Iwo Jima.
Yeah.
You know, what'd they do? They lost almost 22,000 men there, and I think we took as prisoners like 200, 250 Japanese, and they were starving to death at that time. Don't tell me that we didn't have reason to trip the atomic bomb. Those guys would have fought with spears and stones to the last man. I'm firmly convinced. Always great to talk to you.
Let's see. From where are you from?
Loveland.
Loveland.
Loveland, and I'm near there. Anyway, great to talk to you.
Well, I live down in Sun Valley. How many folks did you bring out with you? 2 A320s full. About 300. The orange shirts are our keepers.
Your keepers? you need a keeper?
Well, I don't think I do, but they think I do.
By the end of the day, he might be pushing me around in a wheelchair.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
One more.
We're not done.
After you get in with him. Good point.
Okay.
Why did it ever leave Wyoming?
Like the World War II memorial, the Iwo Jima was bigger than life. The historical planting of the U.S. flag on the island was captured in great detail. The veterans took it all in with awe as camaraderie continued, and they shared their stories and gathered for pictures. The mood began to become more solemn as the veterans approached the Korean and the Vietnam memorials. Many of the Guardians themselves had served in Vietnam, and the mutual appreciation for all of those who had experienced military duty was evident. As the two groups met for lunch, they were greeted by a number of dignitaries, including Senators Wayne Allard and Ken Salazar, Congresswoman Marilyn Musgrave, and candidate for Weld County Commissioner-at-Large Sean Conway from Colorado. Senators Mike Enzi and John Barrasso from Wyoming were also present and mingled with the veterans and guardians from Wyoming.
I'm glad you came over and said hello. That's good. Say hello to him for me. That's why I had to. Hi, Bob. How you doing? Yeah, it's good to see you. Trip here, Bob?
Yeah, I did.
He doesn't stay out of trouble either.
Well, sir, you having a great trip?
You came in on 100 votes by coming here.
Is that all? Yeah. Well, they're the most influential ones, right? What? You get this. You can only get 100 votes out of them. It's the most influential ones.
They're just typical politicians.
You get all this stuff. Say thank you guys. Look here, and what a blessing to have you took our nation way too long to get up a memorial. We're proud you're here today. And thanks for your part in all this. It must be a real blessing to be around you. Thank you for your service. We love and we appreciate you. Nothing like what you did. Bless your heart. I'm so glad you got it.
I've been looking for you, Joe. How you doing? Doing great. I got a toothache. I need a guy like you.
I think so.
Okay, there's one. How am I doing? Okay, so go away. Okay, everybody.
You getting good?
Say sugar.
Oh, yeah, that's what you're made of. Thank you.
Okay, we got some high school students. No, it's good to see you. Come on in here.
I'll take two.
Come here all the time, but no farmer knows what it's like, so it's good news. Thank you for your service.
Great Grandpa Papa's up there waiting.
All right. All right. 1, 2, 3. There you go. Okay. All right. Ready?
As the buses headed back to Baltimore for our departing flight home, there was a sense of accomplishment and maybe a little regret, only that the highlight of the event had come to an end. Though our trip was nearing its end, the celebration wasn't over yet. As the veterans began deplaning back in Cheyenne, they were greeted in the same fashion that they were sent off. Crowds cheered and shook hands with the veterans as they were helped from the plane by more volunteers from Warren Air Force Base and the Air Force National Guard.
And then you just follow the guys down to that.
Follow the group down there. We were having a little corridor day. Did you have fun? Yeah, just going wherever you can.
Yeah, we had a great time.
I know where the airport is. Follow the airport, guys. Hey. Back. Go, guys. Thank you. Follow where
Hey, welcome back, Scotty!
Give me a hug. How you doing? Good to see you, man. Welcome home. How was it?
Hey, welcome back, sir. Welcome back.
All right. I have no idea. Welcome home. Careful, careful. Hey, no running. No running.
Yeah, I don't for it.
Good, huh? You did. Yeah, all right. Hey guys, welcome. Welcome home, sir. Welcome home, sir. Welcome home, sir. Thank you for going. Welcome home, sir. Thank you. Welcome home. Appreciate it. Great job.
We had a great trip.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome home, sir. Welcome home, sir.
We had a great trip.
Glad to have you back.
Welcome home, sir.
Welcome home. Glad to have you back. And you survived. Welcome home, Go Navy. Rick, is that going out? Did you hear me say anything?
I'm sorry?
Did you hear me say anything?
I didn't hear a thing.
The Patriot Guard was again present, with flags flying upon our arrival back at the Budweiser Event Center in Loveland. Veterans, families, and friends met them with excitement and celebration of the successful event. Words cannot describe how much joy it brought to those who painstakingly planned this event and those who participated to make it successful, to have been a part of honoring these heroes of American history in this way. Our resolve to make this happen over and over again until every World War II veteran sees his memorial will drive us forward to raise money, organize, and execute continuing flights.
When we first started the Honor Flight Northern Colorado project, we were hoping that it would indeed be an experience and a thank you that our veterans would never forget. In fact, it has been more than that. We know now that they appreciate finally what the citizens and those of us involved really felt about their duty to their country and how they performed it. It's been a long time in coming, but now we feel that we have given them just some of the thanks that they deserve. But it has been more than that. It has affected those of us involved. All of us on the board, all of us that went as guardians and that participated, the volunteers. It has been something that has touched our lives. And we've had guardians say that they have never had a more rewarding experience than what this has been. So it is our hope now that this video will have captured some of the highlights of our trip and of the preparation for the trip, the departure and the arrival back. That it will have captured a lot of that so that they'll have something they can look at time and time again and say, by golly, our country finally did appreciate what we did back there in the early 40s. We will never forget it, I can assure you. We'll never forget the gratitude that they felt, the humbleness of those veterans. And I know that in my lifetime, it's something that I will treasure forever.